Woo! Baby. We're back. A little bit late, but it was all planned.
And one thing has changed.
What is it, Tommy?
I think our team has won.
Oh, hell yeah. We caught the winner fever.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Board man gets paid. Apple time, apple time, apple time, apple time. How hungry are you? It's just beef penis. All right, all memes out of the way. Yo, it's episode 7 of Audio Huddle. We are fucking lit right now, and we're going to talk about the Raptors being champions. It's 9 days later, but we're still hyped as fuck. So I hope you guys are still hyped, and we're going to keep the energy going. All right, guys?
So it's been 9 days, and you guys might be wondering, why did we not capitalize on the fact that we could have made a podcast immediately after winning? Well, the answer is simple. We wanted to enjoy this experience ourselves, and we wanted to wait until it died down so we could give you guys some quality content after everyone's done with it.
Yes, motherfucker. If we actually recorded on the day of, which we actually did joke around and talk about, saying like, yo, when we win, we should just like run over to my place, because we actually were at Tommy's house watching the game from there. We were going to drive all the way to my place and do a quick, like a live reaction kind of thing, but no, that's not what we wanted to do, because all you'll hear is us screaming fuck, sing we are the champions, and continuously say, yes, we are champions, fuck the Warriors, and similar things like that, correct?
Yeah, for sure. So I think it might have been a better way to just let us get all of our positive emotions out and just lower down our dick riding just by a little bit, just so you guys can actually hear some more fluent conversations.
Yeah, like, not that we're not at level 9 at least right now. It's just that when we were at level 11 of dick riding, it was getting violent. You know, my thighs were chafing.
It was... What? Your thighs were chafing?
You know, like figuratively, you know, from the dick riding.
Oh, I see.
Yes. I was dick riding very hard. For the Raptors. Yes, there we go.
Yeah, so I guess let's break it down. We had 9 days. Obviously, it's been a little bit quiet the last few days because of the draft and everything. But on the Raptors end, it's been relatively quiet. You see off-season news like, oh, Kawhi's at Home Depot. What does this mean?
Kawhi has a sponsorship with the, what was it called again?
Cargo flights, was it?
Cargo Jets Airways.
Yeah.
The same motherfuckers that gave Drake the Boeing.
Yeah, for sure. So what does this mean? And that place is in Hamilton. You don't go to Hamilton unless you're trying to stay in Toronto.
Remember when someone tried to start a rumor that Kawhi Leonard enrolled his daughter in a school in Niagara Falls?
Isn't that true?
I don't believe it. Because if you live in Toronto, you know how far Niagara Falls is. There is no realistic chance that you're going to send your daughter 2.5 hours away to go to school. There are plenty of just as good, if not better, schools, even if they're private, in Toronto.
You know what? I don't believe that, actually. I think that there's a high chance that, you know, Kawhi would send his daughter into somewhere in Niagara because the houses are probably nicer, bigger. There's probably less people. Their family seems like a relatively reserved group of people. Being in Toronto would just be a big mess for them. So being in St. Catharines, why not?
Well, why not be in Oakville?
Yeah, you're right. But Oakville is like all white people, so... Wait, you know what? So is St. Catharines.
There we go. So what was your point?
Niagara Falls has the view.
Oakville has a view, you know, it's by the lake.
It's not the same as Niagara.
It's not, but at least there's less crackheads.
Well, I think the main point is that Niagara is right by the United States border. So if their family ever wants to just go back and forth, they can just go through Buffalo.
Okay, I guess that's true.
Yeah, but of course, these are all speculations. We don't know where he's staying. We don't know if he's staying. I actually do think he's staying, but we'll get back to that later. Yes. Let's go back into festivities. The first 7 days since we've won, hype. And let's start off from day one, the moment we've won.
Man, we were in Tommy's basement, as you were saying, with a couple of friends, and just watching the game, nice, chill, but until it got to that last few seconds of the game, I don't think the room got any more quiet, because it was just pure intensity. It wasn't like this game was a blowout. This was a very tight game. And when Steph Curry was inbounding for the game-winning shot, I don't think anyone was talking.
Yeah, for sure, because that was a shot that Steph Curry always takes. Any shot that Steph Curry takes is a high percentage shot. And the fact that it was a good look and it missed, that was great for us, but it could have easily went in.
And oh my god, when we started fighting for the ball, and then Draymond actually grabbed it and called for the timeout, I was lit. I was super lit because Draymond went dumbass mode and called for a timeout, and got what was it technically?
I think there was a punishment for that. So when you do call a timeout, when there is no more timeouts,
yeah, you get a free throw and you get possession.
Yes, so that was perfect. But of course, realistically, what could have Draymond done, right?
Nothing.
Like he could have passed it off to someone, and they could have did a Hail Mary. But realistically, the game was done the moment Steph Curry missed.
Yeah, because even if from that position, there's guards like flooding all over Draymond. Very low chance, unless you're Jeremy Lamb.
Yes, for sure, unless you're Jeremy Lamb. And I got to give credit for that final play. The Serge Ibaka's defense on Steph Curry's shot, phenomenal.
Yes.
Kawhi Leonard, who was able to box out Draymond and then tip the ball away, it just shows how much IQ Kawhi has. Because most people will just try and grab it, and you get fouled, or you could get your ball swiped. Kawhi was able to think, there's only 2 seconds left on the clock. And he said it in the interview that he swiped it away to try and kill more time on the clock.
Smart. Now, when we got our final shot, and it was like 0.9 second left, we thought we would win. At this point, it's like, okay, how is the Warriors going to win? We're all the way on our side of the court, and Draymond decides to foul us. And it completely killed the mood in the basement. Because it's like we won technically, not technically, but we can't really figure out what's going on. And because the refs don't really know what's going on, and they decide to call a foul, Kawhi does his 2 shots, and, okay, here we go. Here's your win, guys. Congratulations. I'm like, fuck you for ruining the mood.
Yeah, for sure. That was the most anticlimactic finals win ever. Obviously, they could have just let the ball go out. Let them enjoy, those moments where everyone starts running together. No, there was 5 minutes of the refs saying, how am I able to rig this game so we can go to game 7 and make some more
Exactly.
money?
And then no one was running at that point. Everyone was just walking over hey guys, good, we did it, because the whole mood was killed. And we're in the basement. We were hyped in the last 0.9 seconds, and then they blew the whistle. We're confusion, just straight confused. They were wait, this wasn't part of the master plan, guys. Hold on. And we stood there for 5 minutes also going, we should have won, but this is weird. And then we actually won, and we're like, yay. And then the Henny came out.
Yeah, for sure. So we had a really small bottle of Henny, perfect enough for about a shot for 12, 13 people.
Which was about the amount of people that were there.
Yeah, and we were able to enjoy a nice shot, celebrate the Raptors, able to watch all the post interviews, being able to witness greatness in a room in an intimate setting. It was a good mood. Obviously, we weren't downtown like basically the rest of the world, but we're grown men and women, and we have lives. And it was a work day. You can blame,
unfortunately,
you can blame the Raptors for winning in Game 6 and not Game 7, but I'd rather win Game 6.
I'd rather win Game 6 and not have a very sweaty Game 7. Also, side note, I'm broke as fuck. Because almost every single game that we watched, or every single game of the playoffs, I went out to watch. And I spent $20 each night. I'm broke as shit right now because the Raptors went so deep. I mean, it's nice. It feels nice that, we actually won, but holy shit, what a toll on my pocket.
Well, yeah, I totally agree with you as well. I spent a lot of money on chicken wings. I spent a lot of money on beer. And I spent a lot of money on basically everything that's Raptors related to. After we won, a group of my friends and I decided to immediately go to Real Sports, the website, and buy the exact same replica apparel that they wore.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Tommy and I live actually in 2 different towns. So Tommy lives in the town of Scarborough. I live in the town of Markham, which from my house to his house is about 20 minutes away. So on my drive home, normally at that time of the night, which is around 12 at midnight Eastern time for us, it's dead. There's no cars. And even if there's cars, it's just trying to drive by and get home. I'm not even kidding you. Every single car was ecstatic, even in Markham. Everyone was honking. Everyone was going, yeah, go Raptors, go, screaming, we are champions and stuff. in my tiny little town. And same thing. The moment I got home, my dad's watching the game too. I was like, yo, we lit. We champs. And then immediately sat down and purchased the t-shirt.
Yeah, so I purchased the t-shirt as well, and this t-shirt is the same exact t-shirt that the Raptors wore when they won and popped their champagne bottles and stuff. I also bought a baseball cap that is the NBA champs hat. I have the NBA final hat, but you know what? I can't rock that. We're champions, baby. We're not just conference NBA finals.
Hell no.
We're champions, so we got to rock that.
We are CHAMP champions. Sorry, I forgot the IONS, but you know what? We lit, baby.
Yeah, and of course, even though we weren't able to experience the litness that was happening downtown, we saw it. We had friends that were there. People who lived downtown said they couldn't sleep because it was honking nonstop till 4 a.m.
Yep, my coworker was literally not able to sleep because she lives along Yonge Street. And guess what? A giant chunk of Yonge Street was shut down.
Yeah.
It was, what, 16 kilometers?
16 miles. So
16 miles.
That's from Front Street all the way to Shepherd and Steeles and Yonge. That's like where I work, which is like North York region. Like we literally went down the whole yellow line in the subway, and it's packed with people celebrating.
Yeah, like I have friends who live all the way in Markham. Give you perspective. If you were to commute, not drive, just commute by public transportation from Markham to downtown Toronto, it would take you 2 hours. Or an hour and a half if you're really squeezing through it every second, right? My friends bolted out of their house or wherever they were from Markham all the way to downtown Toronto within 15 minutes so they could celebrate. And they were telling me, like, the moment they got there, everyone they knew was there. Everyone just running around going wild and shit. Like, they lost each other because of how crazy the crowd is. Like, literally, like, a giant group of people, like 7, 8 people, all went their separate ways because they got completely consumed by the crowd.
So, how did they get there in 15 minutes? They drove?
Yes, so, around where they were kind of sort of close to the 404. Not really, it's just that you drive really fast.
I see.
The moment they got on the 404, they were just ripping an illegal speed all the way to downtown.
Yeah, I don't know if I would be willing to do that just because of the fact that you've seen those videos. You've seen those videos of people jumping on cars and shit. I would not bring my car downtown on a parade celebration because my car's probably gonna get destroyed or jump on, especially my car. Like my 4Runner, it's huge. They're gonna see that as prime target to jump on and destroy.
My boy was a savage. He didn't give a fuck. He parked on like Gerrard Street, so pretty close to like where Ryerson is, but he brought his truck over, and that's prime like stepping. That's a prime stepping whip too, because you got the tailgate. He didn't give a fuck. He was just like, yo, this is the car that's on me right now. I'm going downtown. But he's a diehard fan too.
Yeah. So, you know what? Yeah, allow him.
Yeah. Shout out to my homie. I'm not going to disclose your name because you might be on some, shit for driving really fast. But, shout out to you. You know who you are.
But, yeah, like, man, I think after that whole celebration, I went to work the next day, and half of the office didn't show up until after 12. The guys who were downtown were the ones who really were living their best life. You saw them coming in afterwards, and then you see the eye bags growing. You see them all, like, a little smirking a little bit. It's like, what time did you sleep yesterday? 6 a.m. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I mean, our group chat was literally lit till about 3:30 a.m. Because since we're all adults, instead of going outside to celebrate, we all decided to just be adults and be on a group chat instead and talk about our win. I went to sleep around like 4:30 because I was hyped. I went to sleep crying too because it was like all the emotion hit me that we're champions, and I was like, we're champions now. And then I went to sleep crying, but happy. A happy cried.
Well, you know what? I allow it.
Thank you.
You deserve to let out your emotions. Because this may not happen for a long time again. The league is getting better. Everyone's trying to improve. And the Raptors may not get their second peat, but it's okay. Kawhi did whatever he was supposed to do. He came in with the mentality of coming in and winning it, and he did. So it's all good. Exactly.
Fuck it. 24 years of suffering is no more. Years of humiliation, butt end of jokes, trash bros, Andrea Bargnani, Chris Bosh leaving us, the Euro players in Toronto. Not that I hate Europe, but you know why. All erased. All of it. All of the humiliation, you're a Toronto Raptors fan, from my American side. Fuck you guys. The Knicks is garbage. We're the champs, baby. It feels so delicious. It's like, I think it feels like extra nice for me because I do have an American side, and I am technically American, but I ride for the Canadian side much harder than I do. And like every time we have family gatherings in America, I get shit on because they go, ew, you guys are trash, oh, Raptors are garbage, sure you guys make the playoffs, but DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry are the trash bros, Dwayne Casey's an awful coach and shit, yada 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 yada. Fuck you, we're the champs. Knicks are never going to be champs. Fuck James Dolan. Zion ain't on your team. RJ Barrett is, you know what, I hope for the best for him still because he's Canadian.
RJ Barrett's awesome, man.
RJ Barrett's awesome, but everyone else sucks mad dick.
Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that little, I don't even know what to call that.
It's my pent up rage for being like sort of American, not really, but yeah.
So how does it feel that you're not really truly American, nor are you a real Canadian? You're like in this limbo state.
You know, it was really weird, especially when my PR expired for 3 months, and I was literally nothing. I was like technically American, but I don't have any residency.
You're an alien, bro.
Huh? Yeah, I was literally and figuratively an alien. But besides that, let's go back to the Raptors, man. Holy. Okay, so, all this energy built up and the Raptors announced they have the parade on Monday. Fuck. My entire life. I literally begged. I was just like, please, for the love of God, give me an off day on Monday. I will work extra hours for a whole month, just to go to the parade. And my boss was like, nah, and he decides to rub it in my face and say, yeah, by the way, I'm gonna go to the parade myself. And I'm like, oh, fucking kill me.
Wow, that is very unfortunate.
Yes, but fortunately for you, you actually went.
Yeah, I did go. I took a vacation day off at my workplace. Of course, very, very happy that I was able to enjoy this moment. I would say that I've never seen that many people in one space in my life. Like, there was at least, they said estimated 2 million people, but then there were other reports saying that it was closer to 3 or 4 million people. And having that many people at one location, like in one congested location, it was actually a little bit claustrophobic at times. And I'm a guy who's good with crowds. I'm okay with crowds. I enjoy that. But that was a little bit too much, especially in the beginning. I got there at 9:30, 10, with the anticipation that the parade starts at 10. Surprisingly, my friends and I were able to get into the Nathan Phillips Square at pretty decent seats, right? Actually, not seats, standing. Everyone was fucking standing. I was right by where the Toronto sign is. So if you guys watched it, there's right in the middle of the Nathan Phillips Squares, there's a Toronto sign. I was right behind it. It was the worst place to be. You would assume that being in that crowd would be lit, but no, it's just a bunch of sweaty dudes, all like taller than you. They're like 6'2", and they get extremely angry when another group of people try to like butt in and shift through. Lots of fights were like happening. Kids who were in the crowd were like fainting. There are people who were dying from dehydration, and you just couldn't move. You were literally shoulder to shoulder with everyone, and it was not a good feeling. So my friends and I actually left the Nathan Phillips Square and just enjoyed watching it on the screen somewhere else that's right next door.
I mean, at least you were there for the energy. Like, yeah. It was like half the feeling was for the energy and, what they pulled through. Did you see Marcus Gasol, my guy?
Yeah, he was lit. He drank, he chugged everything.
He chugged anything that was given to him. He was the sauce god of the entire parade. For those who... Yeah, if you guys listen to the podcast enough, you guys know how much of a Marc Gasol stan I am. I'm so happy for him, especially seeing him so happy and lit and lively again. It's Mark, you deserve every second of it. And you know what? Although I wasn't able to go to the parade myself, I'm not gonna disclose how long I skip work for, but like I just went to my homie's office and we just watched the parade for an undisclosed amount of time.
Yeah, and the parade was actually the longest parade in NBA history because it was delayed for over 3.5 hours.
Yeah, you know what? Like, as bad as it sounds, Toronto doesn't have a history of winning. So when the organizers was tasked to actually host a championship parade, they didn't really know what to prepare for and what to do. And in fact, our country was also not prepared for how many people were actually down to go. You know, it didn't help that John Tory encouraged people to take a day off and go. So all in all, I guess it was a poorly organized event, but we still lit.
Yeah, like overall, the management of that event was really bad. The fact that it was delayed 3.5 hours, you would say, oh yeah, that's lit, the parade lasted longer. But no, the guys who were waiting at the Nathan Phillips Square, like myself, there was no entertainment. There was no sort of stimulation there. It was just a bunch of people all patiently waiting. There was no water service. There was no
washrooms or anything.
Or washrooms. Yeah. So it was relatively a pretty toxic environment for the most part, because people were skipping half days to anticipate, being able to witness this thing. But instead, they wait to 1, and then they realize nothing has happened. So they just not only took in half a day off, they've wasted half a day because they see nothing but be in an angry mood. And these guys are the same guys who came at 6 a.m., 5 a.m. I didn't give a fuck. I was in Scarborough. I just woke up whenever I woke up, got there at 10, and I thought that was late, but apparently they were later. Yes. But of course, obviously that is unavoidable. Maybe the next time we'll be better at it. But overall, the whole environment was still, even though people got irritated, it was still a great experience because they were there for one reason. You've never seen that many people wearing Raptors gear ever. You've seen a bunch of random gears. Jeremy Lin was rocking that vintage McGrady Chinese Raptors jersey.
That was high-key fire.
Yeah, people were actually rocking that too. One of the guys who does the Raptors Over Everything podcast, he said that he waited in the front of what was it, the X, Princess Boulevard, and he was rocking the same jersey as Jeremy Lin, and Jeremy Lin acknowledged him because there was no one there, that he fucking got it signed.
Oh, that's fire.
That is fire, right? I think the fact that everyone thought that all the litness is gonna happen at Nathan Phillips Square, they all crowded there. The real winners are the ones who waited at the very beginning where there was no one.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, that's probably where I would have done too, because if you watched it from the aerials, you would have seen people from the X just kind of followed the bus. So they got to experience everything all the way through, which is also why Nathan Phillips Square became overcrowded, is because everyone from the X all the way to Nathan Phillips just bottled up in there. But it was lit. It was crazy. You know what? Notable things was Danny Green's hair.
Yes.
Norman Powell trying to hop over the bus and getting yelled at by Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, he was plastered as well.
He was sauced up just as much as Marc Gasol. Lowry not letting Uncle Dennis touch the trophy.
Oh, yes, and the whole chant where everyone was chanting to Kawhi, 1 more year, 1 more year. And then yet Uncle Dennis actually sticking his one finger up, kind of giving a little, foreshadow. And then all of a sudden, Lowry pops up behind Kawhi and goes, 5 more years, 5 more years.
Please, 5 more years of Kawhi. Please, please. But you know what? We'll take it because we're champs, baby. But another one was Plant Guy gave Kawhi Leonard a housewarming plant, and he actually cried.
Yeah, and I think it was IKEA who took good advantage of it and started making an ad saying,
buy the Fun Guy plant.
Yeah, the Fun Guy plant for $9.99.
Yes. Very fire. I hope that now that Kawhi won everything, and even if he doesn't stay, I hope all the places that offered him free food for life and stuff will still give him that for however long he stays in Toronto. Because he brought the greatness. He brought the barbecue sauce to Toronto.
Yeah, he's basically the king of the North.
He is. I'm sorry, Drake. Actually, I think Drake is willing to pass this off to Kawhi Leonard. No problem. Because he's fanboying just as hard. Did you see the post-game interview for Drake where it sounded like he was a straight-up player? He's like, my brother's up there. We put in the body of work.
Yeah, you know what? Drake is part of the team.
You know what? Here's what I gotta say about Drake. As much as people shit on him for being a crazy super fan and for interfering into the game, he is I respect him so much for being such a diehard Raptors fan and for the amount of work that he put in to help build their culture and to help build the Raptors as an organization. There's never been a person so passionate about the Raptors. Obviously, I'm not going to mention Nav Bati because he's a GOAT as well. But Drake is on another scale. You know what? Like, you guys are always hating that. Oh yeah, not us, but like, you know, people around the NBA are always hating what his antics and stuff. But this is what you needed. This is the super fan that you needed, you know, to put us on the map. This is the guy that you needed to bring the heart, energy, you know, the confidence, if you will, to the players. And shout out to Drake. You know, that's the big dick energy that he got. 10 out of 10 ratings.
Yeah, and he dropped 2 songs afterwards, and the one that he had with, was it Rick Ross?
Yes, with Rick Ross.
That one was fire.
That one, like, hikey slapped.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess in terms of the overall parade, great job. We ended up becoming, We the North Day on that day.
It is We the North Day.
It was awesome.
Obviously, lots of great things happened. You know what? We were super lit. Crowd was ecstatic. Unfortunately, there was a shooting in the parade. You know what? Obviously, no one condones it. It's stupid. Bad idea. But you know what? When people get into crowds like that, shit just happens. Hopefully, it doesn't happen again. Hopefully overall, Toronto becomes a winning team, and we learn from all the mistakes that we made this time around.
Yeah, for sure. It just sucks the fact that there was like 4 million people there, like asterisk that, I don't know the actual number, but there was a few million people there, and 2 people could really just ruin the whole, like, the vibe of it. Like, obviously, shout out to Matt Devlin for really controlling the crowd. Shout out to the whole Raptors organization for continuing and making sure that the speeches continued, kept it going, so everyone remained calm and was able to kind of retain as much of the festivities as possible. But of course, I was about 100 meters away from the shooting when it happened, and I would say a good 30% of the people who were all across on the street by Dundas, Bay, Albert Street, they all dipped because when it happened, everyone thought it was fireworks, right? From my perspective, I was cheering on. I think what happened was John Tory just gave out something called like the Raptors Way. Started naming one of the streets as the Raptors Way. And it was awesome. And then all of a sudden, pop, 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 pop. Everyone thought it was fireworks, but no, it was a shot. Then I see everyone across the street just running. And at that point, I didn't know what was going on. But then everyone beside me on my left was running too. So instinctively, I just fucking dashed. And I just ran, I think about maybe 200, 300 meters. And then everyone was wondering, like, what are you guys running from? What are you guys running from? I hear people going shooting. Some people are like, I don't even know. And then afterwards, I was in the front entrance of Eaton Center. And my friends and I were just like, what even happened? Like, are we running because it's a shooting? Like, the scary part is that we weren't sure if it was like, you know, it could have been like a Las Vegas kind of like a situation, right? Or it could have been like just one-off. We weren't too sure. So what I did, and me and my boys were like, oh, let's go to Eaton Center. Let's fucking dip. It's not worth it, right? Crowds are not good, especially when something like this happens. It's like perfect prime location for like attacks. What happened? We go into Eaton Center, and we're like, okay, let's just go home. I go through the revolving doors in Eaton Center. I take about 3 steps in. All of a sudden, you hear a loud cry of, like, you know, horror. Running full speed, turning around the corners in like at my direction, like they were trying to leave the exit that I just came in from, and there was like about maybe like 100, 200 people running full speed, all like screaming, and it was like mostly girls too, because I guess they were like shopping and stuff, and just happened to have a lot of girls, and I just remember looking there, I was like, holy shit, this is like a zombie apocalypse kind of like feel when I'm like, I just avoided something that I wasn't sure if it was like, you know, serious or not. I go into Eaton Center thinking, okay, Eaton Center is gonna be safe. What happens? Fucking another crowd comes running in at me, so I fucking immediately turned around and dashed out. Problem. The revolving doors are the center doors. Those are the main doors, and then the 2 side doors are emergency doors. I came with 2 boys, and then me and one of my friends, we ran through the left door. My other friend, he got caught in the revolving door. He tried running, but instinctively, right? He tried to go through the revolving door. He wasn't fast enough to react. 100 people smacked into him. His hand was fucking bleeding. Like we ran out and we're like, where's Tom? Like his name's Tom. Where's Tom? And then afterwards we see him coming out like maybe 10 seconds later, and all of a sudden you see him holding onto his finger, and we're like, what's going on? And it's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know why my hand hurts. And all of a sudden it starts bleeding a little bit. And then it's like a fucking like rainforest. It doesn't stop. It just keeps drizzling. So we had to run to the nearest subway to grab some tissue paper and try and clear it out. But it was wild. I think at that point I was actually kind of scared. It was like a little bit traumatic in a sense because obviously you didn't know what the fuck's going on. A shooting happened there, and all of a sudden a bunch of people running here, and they're saying that there were like 2-3 stabbings that happened at Eaton Center, and I'm just like, no, fuck this, I'm going home. And then and I'm like, let's take an Uber, that's the safest route. And then you see Uber's $90, like fuck this, let's just take the bus. Let's just go back to Dundas and walk past college and take the bus. But yeah, my parade was eventful. The shooting was eventful, unfortunate, but yeah, that's my basically what happened during the situation.
You know what? It almost makes me feel a little bit better. You know what? I was kind of salty that I wasn't able to join the parade, but you know what? I avoided the heat. I avoided the crowds. I avoided the shooting. I avoided the trampling. And I still actually watched the parade.
You know what? I think you're the real winner here. I don't think, from this experience myself, I feel like it's great to enjoy it. I think I've become, I would consider myself a big Raptors fan. I want to be there for the moment, especially since I wasn't there for the downtown festivities after winning. So I told myself that this is something that I had to do. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. But after experiencing it, like, it's great and all, but I'm sure that I can have just as much fun watching it through TV with like some friends than actually being in there. I remember it being very claustrophobic, as I mentioned before. It was just like, you're prone for some sort of event, and like if you are there and there's so many people and it's so chaotic and there's lack of organization, GG, right? What if there was actually an attack? We're fucked because we can't run anywhere.
Exactly. Well, you know what? Good thing there wasn't actually an attack. It was just people being stupid. But again, like I said, I hope that in the future we continue to win and we continue to make the events much better, with facilities, proper security, all that. Now, obviously, you looking back at things, you would say, you kind of you would have probably stayed at home. But you know what? I guess it's time for us to look back at this playoff run itself as well. Because this playoff run was unlike any other playoff run that I've ever seen. It was magical. And there's a narrative for every single series, in my opinion. I think we'll start off with the Magic series real quickly. I know that, coming in hot, we were the clear favorites, but the Magics were also the best team out of the bottom tier playoff teams because they had a very hot second half. We embarrassingly lost the first game. Kyle Lowry scored 0 points, and people were fearful. People were making fun of us, right? Like right off the bat. Oh, look, it's the losers again. Even with Kawhi, we're still the ones that are going to get swept in 4. We learned our mistakes. Gentleman's sweep. Completely shut down their best player with Marc Gasol. On to the next one. Now, going to Sixers was weird, right? It was a kind of we don't really know how the series would go down. I still said,
You thought Sixers were going to win.
No.
Wait, didn't you?
No. I was just scared.
Oh, I see.
And rightfully fucking so.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think that series was a lot of up and downs. It was like more volatile than the Bitcoin cryptocurrency stock charts. But yeah, it's Raptors win high and then all of a sudden they lose really low, and then it's like back and forth, right? At one point it was like 3-2 up Raptors. We thought it was all good, and then boom, 3-3, and then we are forced Game 7.
This was by far the toughest series we actually played, as surprising as it is. We as a fan base were very unsure about our future when we were down 2-1. Because when we lost Game 2, we lost really badly too. Like really, really badly. But luckily we bounced back and completely slapped them by almost 40 points. And, this is a series that gave us that's probably going to go down in Raptors history as the greatest shot of all time. The game winner in Game 7. Buzzer beater by Kawhi Leonard. Long 2. Holy. People are selling frame pictures of that photo for $200, $300 now.
Yeah, it's a complete scam. Let me just print that shit myself, and I go to Walmart and find one of those basic frames for I can make that whole setup for $20, and let me sell that shit for $200.
Yeah, or sell it for $150 and beat the market.
Yeah, but everyone's capitalizing on anything Raptors. They're selling Raptors slippers, Raptor memorabilia that's not even legit. It's crazy.
It is. Now, what's crazier was when we entered into the Bucks series, right? We weren't the favorites. We were not the favorites ever since we passed the Sixers, because the Bucks are riding as the best team in the NBA. Giannis is the best player in the NBA, future MVP.
You know what? I want to talk about that. Like, isn't it so stupid that the NBA playoffs are over? A champion has been gone. The draft has already started for next year, and we still don't know who the MVP is?
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous, but because they're trying to market everything. They're trying to sell everything. They're trying to make everything into a show. I prefer if we already know who the MVP is. I would have personally preferred if we had MVP, MIP, Coach of the Year, Executive of the Year, and all that done right when the playoff starts. Because that's how the timeline should be. If we're going to have a finals MVP already announced, why can't the regular season MVP, which already should have been determined well beforehand, be determined now, right?
Yeah,
it just goes against the timeline. But you know what? That's a whole different situation that we have to talk about. You know what? Obviously, we all kind of know that Giannis will be the MVP. Harden played great, but it is Giannis. Now, we were down 2 in the series, right? And we were probably going to get swept or so, whatever. We got slapped. But, hey, we won 4 games in a row.
I know. That's unheard of, actually, right? Like, it is heard of. It's happened before. But from the Raptors' perspective, that was, like, the first time we've won, 3 games in a row. And then they're like, oh, shit, now we won 4 games in a row. That really proved that we were the better team, in a sense. I wouldn't say we were the better team. I think talent-wise, we had the best, player in the series with the most experience, but skill-wise, in terms of a whole collective, it's relatively even.
It was relatively
the only
even.
thing that was different was that we had a lot more experience in Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard. When people go playoff experience is nothing. We've mentioned it before in our last podcast. It means a lot.
It means a lot. And, this is a series that shows, the Bucks are a very dominant regular season team. We were, still trying to figure, obviously we were dominant, but we were still trying to figure out our team. But then when the moment the playoffs come, everyone just locked in. Because everyone knows what happens. Because playoffs experience, like I said, is very, very crucial. And we were able to completely reverse sweep. What was it called? We go 4 on the Bucks. Doesn't matter. We won 4. And you know what? This is something that is unheard of for the Raptors, especially coming fresh off of the Dwayne Casey, DeMar DeRozan era, where clutch is the very last word you could ever say about our team. We were actually very clutch in this series. Very clutch in the previous series as well. And going into the Golden State Warriors, Vegas had us completely losing, getting crushed by the Golden State Warriors. And you know what? You're wrong, baby.
Yeah. It's just awesome. Obviously, it sucked that we may get overshadowed by the fact that it's not the Raptors winning, but it's Klay Thompson going down, KD going down,
Kevin Looney going down. However, this is part of the game. This is my argument against people who try to discredit our championship win. Is this is part of the game. This comes with expectations, right? What if Kawhi Leonard goes down, right? You're not gonna give us the same excuse, right? That if Kawhi Leonard was not injured, I'm saying theoretically, let's say Kawhi Leonard injures himself game 1 of the finals and out for the rest of the series, you wouldn't give us the benefit of the doubt that, if Kawhi Leonard was back, things would have been different. It's the same idea. If KD was back, things would have been different, but who knows, right? This is all part of the game. Playing basketball in the NBA comes with the expectation that injuries will happen. And yes, I feel very bad for KD. I feel even worse for Klay Thompson, and just as bad for Kevin Looney on their injuries and, the timing of it especially, right? But unfortunately, this is what they signed up for. This is what everyone signed up for. This is part of the game. You can't play a game and have 0 injuries. Then it's golf.
Hey, golf has injuries too. What do you mean?
Oh, then it's chess.
True. Yeah, but for sure. The one thing I don't agree with is I think Klay Thompson will be okay with his injury. Kevin Durant's injury is way worse.
Much worse. And I really feel bad that, you know what, this is very much like the Kawhi Leonard case where the team staff tried to force him to play. because they were constantly pressuring him, saying like, "Oh, Kevin will be back. Kevin will be back," and he built in his mind that he's gonna come back and play really well, and he did come back, and he fucked us for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was like 11 points, 3 for 3, and the 3-point line. Like, damn, that was wild.
He was out for blood, and then unfortunately, he tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's really bad, and let's just be honest. Everyone in Toronto cheered when that happened.
Yeah, I was at that game actually, and to be honest, everyone cheered in the beginning. We just thought, realistically, it was like a good turnover, and then you saw him holding his ankle, and then everyone cheered even louder because they thought, "Oh shit, we have a chance of winning." It's just how passionate Toronto is. But one thing that the media has, misconstrued is the fact that the moment that people noticed that it was actually more serious, and Lowry and Danny Green and Marc Gasol, they all were like, "Yo guys, like what the fuck? It's really serious." Kind of signaled that it was more than just like a sprained ankle or something. Mm-hmm. Everyone got up. It was a standing ovation. We all cheered, KD, KD, KD. We clapped him off. We tried to, show them the Canadian way. Obviously, it's still inexcusable that we were so savage in the beginning as fans. The guys at Jurassic Park were crazy too. They were just literally waving him goodbye and stuff. That's just heat in the moment. It's passion, right? You can't give a shit for doing that when Golden State did the exact same thing when Kawhi got injured.
Yeah, and they didn't give him a standing ovation. They booed him off.
Yeah, for sure. So fuck you guys. But of course, the media wants to just flip the script, and of course, everyone puts Toronto on a pedestal, saying that we're like the greatest fans or the nicest fans. We're all sports fans. We all have a level of douchery, like douchebaggery.
Yeah, but we're still human.
But of course, we're still human. At the end of the day, there's gonna be a bad handful of people that doesn't represent the fan base well, and obviously that is a time of emotion. And I was there. I was able to experience it. I'm not gonna lie. I cheered when we saw him get out, but when you saw the severity of it, everyone kind of changed their gesture immediately, and then no one was being a complete asshole about it. So the fact that we went from most liked fan base to worst liked fan base in a span of 1 second in that game, unfortunate. But then again, we won the championship, and I feel like no one's going to talk about that anymore.
No, but I think a lot of people will still continue the narrative that, it's discredited because a lot of their star players are out and such. However, we also need to look at the fact that, all right, let's start with the first one. Kevin Durant was out, right? That levels the playing field for us. You know what? Not that saying that the Golden State Warriors is garbage without Kevin Durant. They're a fantastic team. They won a championship back in 2015 without Kevin Durant. They don't necessarily need him, for their level for a superstar level gameplay, right? But having Kevin Durant there is, let's just be honest, it's broken. It's a fucking cheat code the moment Kevin Durant joins that squad. And he's not just the only superstar there. You have Klay Thompson, you have Steph Curry, you have Draymond Green, you have fucking DeMarcus Cousins. And you're going to make an excuse that, one of your 5 superstars can't play? That doesn't sound like a good excuse at all.
Yeah, for sure. At the end of the day, I think it's not the Raptors' responsibility on who's playing on the other team or not.
Precisely.
It's just the road that they're given, right? Their goal is to beat whatever is in front of them, and they beat whatever is in front of them. So I think they deserve full credit. A lot of people overall has, given them the credit. I think even the fans, they understand. It's just the media guys. They're just trying to stir shit. So
they are, and it is very frustrating, especially since we're just trying to have our moment. But then, you go on social media and you just see some reporter making a hot take saying, Raptors wins are illegitimate. Warriors should have won in 5 or something. And it's just man, come on, just give us our moment. We're just trying to have a good time. Now, in order to carry over the negativity train, I do want to call out Toronto fans for this one thing. Why are you making fun of Jeremy Lin? Why are you saying, he doesn't deserve a win? Why are you saying that he doesn't deserve a championship? He put in just as much work as he did with everyone else. Sure, it's unfortunate that, he wasn't able to play, serious minutes during the playoffs, but that's not saying that he didn't do anything for the Raptors, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And everyone on the team deserves that ring because they contributed to what their role was, right? Jeremy Lin played a perfect teammate figure. He was vocal about a lot of the things. He gave his opinion on a lot of things. He practiced with them. He basically was ready to play whenever given the chance. Obviously, I'm sure Jeremy Lin himself didn't want to be in a position where he didn't get any playing time. Obviously, he believed that he probably could contribute to the game, but that just wasn't his role for this, highly talented team. And the fact that, even Chinese people and like Taiwanese people and Asians in general making fun of Jeremy Lin. If you guys haven't listened to the Ryan Higa Off the Pill podcast with Jeremy Lin, he goes in depth about this, and it's very insightful. But like, he's done so much for the Asian community, especially the Asian American community. He's the first Asian American to win an NBA title. He's the first Asian American to play in the NBA Finals. He's the first Asian American to really solidify himself and give us a onlook that's away from different platforms. Like, we're slowly rising in movies, we're slowly rising in other aspects, but sports, we've always been neglected, and like, he's really been that positive figure for us. And the fact that even we're making fun of him, even though he should be someone that we're really praising for all the hard effort that he's done, it sucks.
It does. And let's also be honest, he's gonna clap all you Twitter warriors or keyboard warriors in a game of 21. You're not going to score a point on him. So why are you saying he didn't do anything, I think it's just ridiculous that, this guy puts in so much work. He's always a positive figure to the community, a positive member in the NBA community as well. And, he does put in his work. He's proven that he's a very legitimate ball player. Don't forget Linsanity, and don't forget the consistency of Jeremy Lin, Just because Linsanity is over, it wasn't like he was an inconsistent player throughout his career, right? And even during this season when he played for Atlanta, he was very impressive. Showed that he was great off the bench and he could put in the right amount of minutes and the perfect amount of points, right? Unfortunate that the moment he joined the Raptors, he didn't fit into our system. It was a little bit difficult to adjust in, and unfortunate things turned out that way. But again, don't shit on the guy. He was in every single practice. He brought in the veteran experience. He brought in confidence. He definitely was a member that brought the team together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is like the Raptors, what Dwayne Casey left behind and what Masai Ujiri tried to cultivate was a family culture. And Jeremy Lin's one of the best examples of a guy who can bring in the family culture over because of the way he carries himself, because of his attitude, and because of the way he reflects on things. Sure, you might not see him on the court, but you'll see it during the locker room, right?
Yeah, it's like Jeremy Lin, he's not the same player that he used to be because of injuries as well, right? He's now, kind of indulged in that new position, and we just gotta understand that he's working just as hard as everyone else, right? Even like guys like Jordan Lloyd, right? You might not know him unless you're a Raptors fan. You might just know him as the random guy in a suit that's in that Kawhi Leonard crouching picture. But little do you know, in practice, he replicates Stephen Curry. During practice, he reads up on how his tendencies are. He watches videos to make sure that he can mimic Curry as best to his ability. So during practice, they'll figure out a way to stop him. You don't see that in in the game. You don't see that in the media or get talked about at all. It's a very underrated thing, but he plays a very vital role because he prepares the 7 guys, 8 guys who play every night to really shut down Stephen Curry. So everyone deserves their credit. Even assistant coaches, even like JV, Greg Monroe,
DeLon Wright, CJ Miles.
Yeah, they all deserve it because they contributed to the team. Maybe not as willingly deserved because they didn't really contribute to the playoff. But, they deserve a ring still.
At the end of the day, the beautiful thing about the Raptors is they still maintain, as I said, the family aspect of the whole thing, right? JV, DeLon, CJ, they all decided to purchase in on this culture. And even though they left behind the culture still. And you see that with JV, DeLon, and them visiting Raptors games, They're still friends. And this is the beautiful thing about the Raptors. So don't shit on people, please. Let's just be happy that, we worked as a team and won. Because if there's anything that was proven in this playoff run entirely, was that you don't need egos and big names to win. You need a team that knows the system to work together. And I think teamwork is the key to it. You need to just one superstar and a team of great players that can play exactly what they're good at and know what everybody's good and bad at, so they can fill in each other's pieces. Don't forget, we destroyed a dynasty. The Raptors are dynasty killers. We just ended the Warriors superstar dynasty. Did we win because of LeBron James, a bunch of superstars? No. We won with teamwork and grit. We won with Kawhi Leonard bringing a new culture over of manliness, alpha male mentality. And you know what? We don't need superstars.
Yeah, I totally agree. And just like what Fred VanVleet Sr. said, when he was asked about getting that one final vote for the Finals MVP, he said, no, I don't think, everyone knows their role here. Everyone knows how to contribute, and no one gets egos. That's like their ego doesn't get into the play. They know exactly where they fit and what they have to do. And that's why they succeed so well, because they're not the Boston Celtics. They don't think that they're, all should be the star or A-B player. They just know for a fact that Kawhi is the star, Pascal is the second option, Lowry's the leader, get some solid minutes. 3-and-D guy is Danny Green. Like, even Danny Green, he was totally self-aware, and he mentions, I got 0 points that final game, and I usually win. We usually win when the team gets 0, when I get 0 points. So he just starts celebrating because, that's just kind of the beauty of it, is that they are aware of exactly what they're supposed to do. And even good or bad, they know how to improve and how to improve, right?
Yeah, and because we're so self-aware and we work so well in the system, because there's no ego involved, guys like Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green have stated that this championship win is much more enjoyable than the 2014 win when they were part of the Spurs. And it goes to show that our culture is a lot, it's a lot better. It speaks volume, right? That, we can be friends while being teammates. And I think that helps a lot, right? And let's take a quick minute, Tommy, because I know this is also in the back of your mind. Let's spend a minute to clown DeMarcus Cousins for being the biggest loser in the NBA.
Yes, DeMarcus Cousins, complete ass. He's basically the sixth player on the Raptors floor when he's on, because he's so bad
that he helps us.
Yes, and the fact that, he has his moments. There are certain games that he's good, but he's more bad than good. Statistically wise, he had 4 horrible games and 2 great games. So, you know what? He's trash. And it's so funny that he has such low ball IQ. He
can't jump.
He
literally falls over everywhere, even though he's 7'1" and 2,000 pounds.
He's a super flopper.
Complains at any moment someone touches him, he complains and asks for the foul. Let's see. Took a pay cut to win a championship with a superstar caliber team.
Only to lose.
Completely ruined his stock because he was hoping that he could just call off this season, and show that the future potential team that signs him how good he is again by going complete beast mode in the second half of the season. You're wrong. You got injured, came back in the playoffs, got injured again, came into the finals, and showed that, oh, wait, you can't do anything in the finals because you're garbage.
Your free throw sucks ass.
Your hairline's questionable.
Yeah, and I think that's about a minute. You're shit, and best of luck trying to get a max anywhere else.
Best of luck getting a veteran minimum for the Phoenix Suns.
You already know Phoenix Suns will offer him the max.
Yeah, they would. They'll offer him the most ridiculous contract possible because they're a terrible organization.
Take in that the Suns basically tanked the whole year for Dario Saric and the 11th pick, which is Cam Johnson.
So don't forget, they traded that for TJ Warren.
Yeah, it's horrible. I don't know what the Suns are doing. Sure, they're getting cap space, but man, horrible management right now. No one knows what the fuck's going on there. But yeah, that's for another conversation. We're hitting close to 55 minutes now.
55 minutes? I think there's one more thing we should talk about. You mentioned that you were part of Game 5. Can you tell us a little bit of how you got to Game 5?
Yeah, for sure. So I was in a Uber commercial, and in that sense, people might be asking me about, how did I get this Uber commercial? But you know what? That's for next episode, because we're out of time. And this episode of Audio Huddle is indirectly sponsored by Uber Pool, one of the best Uber Pool experiences ever.
One of the best commute experiences ever.
No, seriously, it's actually awesome, right? Like, you want to save money? No problem at all. You just have to go on Uber, and instead of paying that hefty single fine, why not fill up the seats and pay half the price? That's awesome.
Let me give a quick shout out to Uber Pool. Actually, when I went to Travis Scott back in 2018 of November, I was going to do an Uber, but I was like, ooh, the price is not sick at all if I got Uber X, and I decided to offer Uber Pool. Best decision I ever made. Just so happens that the people that were going to ACC with me were also going to Travis Scott, so we all bonded and we started singing Travis Scott together with our South American or Latin American Uber driver. It was lit. Yeah. Thank you, Uber.
It was a good experience, and I guess, that's our first, official, non-official sponsor.
Completely unofficial, but please, we'd be happy for you to sponsor us.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? They gave me enough that they're worth a sponsor.
All right. My name is Eugene.
My name is Tommy.
This is Audio Huddle, and remember, guys,
we're just fans,
not experts. Boop, boop.
Give us 5 stars on iTunes.
Yes, and we are actually still doing the MVP jersey release, but now we're going to add Kawhi Leonard in the mix.
Yes, I think you guys got to share this. It's coming. The content is coming.
The content is actually coming. It's not that we're trying to bait you guys.
You guys just gotta, share it and
comment and give us 5-star reviews.
Yeah, and listen to Spotify. You know what? If you're listening, listen to Podbean, Spotify, and iTunes. Just do it for the clout.
Exactly. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.